Well, historically it had been, and it depends on what the goal is, right? You can lie to escape accountability. You can lie to protect state secrets. You can lie about your intent so that you don't out yourself. But I think what we're seeing within the Trump administration is an evolution of the lie where it actually serves multiple political purposes. So rather than trying to avoid discovery, it actually is an overt action to try to, consolidate the base and exhaust the resistance.
An example. Can you give me an example of what you're talking about?
Yeah, so one of the things I talk about in the Substack article and the Alex Pretti shooting, I think is unfortunately a good illustration of this. We all saw the videos. It was obvious what happened. He did not approach agents with a weapon in his hand. They said he did. He was not aggressive. They said he was. They said he was dangerous and a domestic terrorist. He was trying to protect a woman who had fallen, and they pepper sprayed him or bear sprayed him, whatever they used. And then they fell on top of him, started beating him, took away his weapon, which was concealed carried. He had a license for. He never reached for, right? He just had it on
Right.
his person. And once he was disarmed, they shot him appearingly
Multiple
from the
times.
back 10
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
And yet we're supposed to believe that he was the aggressor and somehow deserve this. So why would someone say something that is so easily disproven with your own eyes and ears? And think about this. Participating in the truth is a very passive process. We all agree that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, and we don't have to think about it, right?
No, hold on. No, no, no. The sun revolves around the earth and it's flat.
That's right. That's right.
People
Flat
even
Earth.
disagree with you there. But go ahead.
but, but you know, participating in a lie is active. To actually collude with the deception requires that you give up your own sense of reality to join this movement. And it's almost like, you ever seen the movies where like the mob will make someone go kill someone so they have something on them. So now they're part of the mob and they're
Yeah.
ingrained to that. In some ways, this is the same thing. You've participated in a lie of something truly, truly horrible. And now getting out of that, retracting that, going back becomes increasingly difficult. And it shores up and glues that base of fanatical support.
Well, the question I have it is, yeah, but it takes an active participation in. It's not passive, because to me you have to actively participate. The truth isn't even passive. It all of it is an act of will, an act of moving forward. And Donald Trump, as I've said, look, I can describe his behavior. I've been in front of him many times. I can tell you that, well, he and I don't get along, but in the first administration, at least he would call on me simply because he liked to fight. Now he avoids pretty much everybody in the press except those that are handpicked. But Donald Trump's actions toward a lie are much more, how do I say this, and say it accurately, is it's much more conducive to, there's an end game. And the end game is not just to understand. The end game, I think the confusion is the end game. The chaos is the end game. It's chaos in a blender. Now, I have covered races for 40 years, different, and you've been in a political race. Tell me, at some point in time, isn't the confusion beneficial to him? You've
Well, that's the third of the kind of three-part initiative of this, right? Is the exhaustion factor.
Yes.
So there are two things that happen when you lie to create that confusion. One is some people just disengage. And we've all seen this with our friends, family, and whatever, where people are like, well, don't all politicians lie? It's just politics as usual. I'm disengaged. I don't follow politics. Like that civic disengagement allows him to pursue nefarious intent without the typical checks and balances of the populace, at least in the numbers that would hold him accountable. But the second part of this is controlling the narrative. And I think Donald Trump has done this better than anyone in recent memory. We spend so much time defending his lie, or protesting his lies, fact checking, trying to clarify. It lets him keep the microphone and control the narrative. We can't even get our own points in because he rapidly eclipses that with these audacious lies.
Well, yeah, or as I say, he frames the argument, and we argue within that frame. We don't ever. We're either trying to dispute the frame, but it's always within that framework of lies where he operates. You're having to react to him. You can't react. You can't provide new information because you can't. You can't get out of the fact that you're stuck in quicksand trying to explain why this guy's full of shit.